The choice of a Muslim-Muslim ticket by the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, was received with mixed feelings across Nigeria's political spectrum, none more so than in his political party. A powerful lobby of politicians of the Christian extraction from the northern part of the country, led by a former secretary to the government of the Federation, David Babachir Lawal, and a one-time Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, had embarked on a campaign to sensitize members of the party about the dangers of neglecting the sensitivities of the Christian North. Well, to have a conversation around this, we're now being joined by former SGF Babachir Lawal. Good to have you on Newsday.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your time as well. Well, of course, you've been very vocal about your opposition regarding this same faith ticket. And obviously, APC has placed state building above nation building. In your opinion, do you think that this will cost the ruling party the election come 2023?
We expect it should, by the grace of God. We expect it should. We expect that since APC has decided that they want to come to power with a strategy that excludes a very large segment of the people they intend to govern, God will not allow them to succeed, and we pray so.
All right. Having said that, you once said that the danger behind the Muslim-Muslim ticket is that it would bring religion to the front burner of politics. How do you think this will play out during the election period?
Well, first of all, we have stated the problem, and that our opposition to the Muslim-Muslim ticket, because we think that it is a grand plan to introduce religion into the politics of Nigeria because of some of our ambitious, self-serving leaders, politicians. If you look at it as it were, Nigeria, in the north, we are now having all manner of crises. Insurgency, tribal conflicts all over the country. In my state, 2 years back, there was a full-fledged war between nomadic Fulanis and settled citizens of the communities. Thanks to God, this has been overcome. In Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, there's a full-blown war between the Fulani nomads and the Hausa farmers. It's a full-blown war. Now, as it were, the North is involved in all manner of crises, all manner of civil wars. And we think that the introduction of a Muslim-Muslim ticket or a same-faith ticket by APC is a wicked plan to further create divisions within the North. We've tried as leaders of the society to try to live as brothers and sisters, but out of the blues, this demonic proposition just came up, unincited, unnecessary, but there it is. And for all lovers of unity in this country, for all lovers of unity in the North in particular, where we are most affected, this ticket must never succeed. And we must make sure we defeat it in such a resounding manner that nobody in his right senses will ever think about it again, at least in the near future of our political journey in Nigeria. So we are set on it. We are determined to kill it. Our people are mobilized, and people are ready for the election day.
Very well said. Well,
so that's where we are.
Thank you so much. Well, you and Yakubu Dogara definitely see eye to eye regarding this Muslim ticket. And he has said that Christians should not waste their votes in 2023 by, voting for that Muslim-Muslim ticket. I'm wondering if, for the Christians who might actually be leaning towards the APC, do you think it would be a waste of their votes as Dogara, interpreted?
we've discussed this. It's not Dogara and I alone that are involved in this. Indeed, we are leaders of a group of about 40 leading Christian politicians in the North. We started work on this years back when we suspected there were a Muslim from the South to emerge as the candidate for any of the political parties. There will be the risk of what is happening, what has happened will happen. Now, there are two issues here. First and foremost, we are politicians. And the job of a politician is to win election and form government. Now, second, when we look at this ticket as designed principally to exclude Northern Christians from governance, it will not be wise for us to therefore go ahead and hang ourselves and exclude ourselves from the incoming government. So while we plan that the same-faith ticket of APC should fail, we also believe that we should align with one of the leading political parties that have the chances of winning, so that we do not throw the baby with the bathwater, as the saying goes. So our plan is, and our strategy is, we will not just waste our votes just because we want to protest against a same-faith ticket of APC. No. We'd like to partner with another group that is more sensible of the Nigerian situation, that have realized that Nigeria needs harmony, needs unity, needs peace. So if we decide to go and support one of such groups and our votes are wasted, that is, they don't deliver on a victory in an election, or in a manner that our votes tended to enhance the chances of APC winning this ticket, it will be a waste. It's a wasted vote. Now, this for us politicians. We do have among the Christians leading opinion molders in the society, like our clergy, who think that it's just important to kill the ticket and that's it. And that's where the concept of wasting our vote comes in. Fortunately, based on our enlightenment, our meetings, our explanations to all shades of the Christian community in Nigeria, they've come to realize that wasting votes is not a very brilliant idea at all. So I think Dogara is coming from that position when they say we are going to waste our votes. We don't want to waste our votes. Why vote at all if you want it wasted? It will not count to anything. So we urge our people to be discerning. We are working on the plans and strategies, and when we are through with it, we'll communicate where we are going and where we want to settle. So we don't want to waste any vote at all. Those votes must count, and they will count towards assisting one of the most moderate presidential candidates to win the election. That's it.
So since you will not be wasting your votes, and in the past you have said that the North will always vote for one of their sons, is it safe for us to say that the Forum of Northern Christian Leaders will be endorsing Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in the next election?
Now, my sister, this brings us to the core of the matter. We are Northerners. Dogara is from Babachir, Central North. I am from Adamawa, the extreme end of Adamawa, top northeast of Adamawa. I am from there. So we are Northerners. We have no other place to go except our place of origin, our places of birth. So you cannot run away from the fact that we are Northerners. And what happens, what affects the North in general also affects us and our people. Now, but that's where the problem is. The problem has always been when it is time for election like this, they come to us as, oh, we are Northerners, we should vote together, we should vote for our brothers. We cast our votes along with our Northern brothers. And what happens? When the dining starts, they shove us out and we see them through the window eating buffet on the dining table. And this is what has informed some of this, our position, that this time around, we are not going to go along with anybody that does not understand that we have a right to enjoy the perks of democracy. We are not going to go along with anybody, be him Fulani man, Hausa man, Kilba, Basaye, Igbo, Yoruba, that doesn't understand that there's a distinct entity of people that are called Northern Christians, or in another sense, smaller tribes in the north. So we are no more going to be, we will not allow ourselves to be deceived into say, hey, Northerners, we are Northerners, let's vote together. Then when we are through, they push us into the dustbin. We are not ready for it. We thank God that we've realized that we've woken up to this reality and our people have seen it and they are mobilized to do it. I just released one statistic in one of my speeches in which I said there are about 28 federal universities in the north, including military and other non-civilian institutions. Of those 28, there are only 5 vice chancellors that are of Christian origin. The polytechnics are almost the same statistics. Colleges of education, almost the same. Everywhere you go is Professor Alhaji this, is Muhammad Abubakar this. There's nowhere you see John Jato or something like that. If you go to the medical schools, it's all the same thing. To the extent that we Northern Christians are finding it very difficult to get admission into universities to read good courses. Only those of us that are city dwellers and God has blessed with some resources are able to send our children now to medical schools, private medical schools. So why is the Northernness? If a Christian can never in his wildest imagination expect to be a vice chancellor of Usman Dan Fodio University, or Bayero University, or University of Maiduguri, or University of Abuja, or Tafawa Balewa University, or University of Ilorin. None. We are not, no Northerner, no Northern Christian, no matter his qualifications, will ever, in his wildest imagination, expect to head these institutions. So where are we? So no more Northernness in this matter. Let them put it on the ground, let us see. The dog says that if they told the dog that there was a party in this house yesterday, and he said he has not seen it because there was no bone on the ground. Let's see the bone. Then we'll know we are Northerners.
Okay, we understand why you have to hold some cards to your chest and your discretion as well. We will definitely respect that. But of course, you also said that when your strategizing is over, you communicate those to us. But of course, you had this very important meeting with Christian leaders from 19 northern states and the FCT on the Pan-Nigerian platform to adopt in 2023. I'm wondering if you can give us some of the outcomes of that meeting, or if we'll just have to wait for you to give us that information when all your strategies are.
No, I can tell you.
Yes, please.
No, I'll tell you. You know, our plan is we have a 3-stage process we are going through. Originally, the first step was to declare our opposition to the same faith ticket. And we've stated that. And we stated in the first instance that we will never support it. That was the beginning. That was the first strategy to do. Second, we are doing strategy development, sensitization, and mobilization. We have been going around meeting some senior society leaders, religious leaders across both Islam and Christianity. We have spoken to the political parties, all the major political parties, and to explain our position. We have even spoken to African traditional religion practitioners. We have spoken to the youth groups. We have spoken to the women groups, and of course, Christian organizations like PFM can. What are we doing? What we are doing is explaining why we are doing what we are doing. That's what we are doing. And of course, one of our critical stakeholders is CAN, because CAN, I would like to say, is the political arm of Christianity in Nigeria. So we don't do any politics without explaining to them what is it we politicians are doing. We Christian politicians, they need to understand what we are doing. Because ab initio, they also have their own view of what should happen. But no matter what the church has as a view, they are the spiritual arm of this struggle. They handle the spiritual end. We handle the political, the physical, and practical end. So we need to be on the same page. And that's why we have been talking to CAN. We have been talking to our religious leaders, bishops, church leaders, and so on and so forth, to let them know this is what we are doing and this is why we are doing it. And in every time we have had to do that, we have a resounding support, and we all leave the meetings more united than we came in. So we had a meeting with the secretaries and chairman of CAN in the 19 northern states plus Abuja, and then the 3 zonal executives, and of course, quite a few other more influential political leaders. We've had that meeting and we had a very good agreement. The process now, as we see it, is that they've agreed that the politicians should do the political work, give the lead when it comes to politics, and then they, the religious leaders, are explaining to us what they see in the spiritual realm. And we harmonize all this and we deliver our results. And we are all on the same page. The same fare ticket is not going to work. So we're happy we are doing well.
Earlier
we're happy that our opposition also... Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, earlier in our conversation, you had painted the dire picture of the current state of affairs, particularly in the north, and with the violence and various incidents that are taking place there. What's the way forward? When we look at the state of the nation, it seems religious divisions are at their peak. They're greater than they've ever been. How do we move forward from this point to a point where religion is no longer in the front burner of politics and the nation can move forward as one united nation?
My sister, I feel sad that the thing is deteriorating. But the truth of the matter is that I don't think religious division is at its peak. If this same-fare ticket of the APC succeeds, it will just be a fresh beginning for religious division in the country. It will just be. Because I find it very difficult to see how the Christians in Nigeria will be placated with this ticket that is designed to just oppress the Christians. See, people misunderstand. When we talk about Islamization as Christians, we are not talking about dragging somebody like Bidi Lawal or Dogara to the mosque or converting them to Islam. When we talk about Islamization, we are talking about the agencies of government completely dominated by one religion. And that is what it is, completely. That is what we mean by Islamization. When you are employed as a permanent secretary, for example, on the understanding that you are a Muslim and that's why you are employed, the tendency is that when you resume office, you do all other things on the basis of your Muslimness, because that is the qualification that made you. So you try to use that parameter for other appointments. So when you hear Christians talking about Islamization agenda, it is not about pushing everybody to the mosque. It's about making sure no other tribe other than Islam gets appointed into government work. And that's what is happening. And so, how can there ever be peace then? That is why we feel that this same-fare ticket of APC is extending that discrimination up to the highest level of government, where we had expected that the process of healing, reconciliation, and repairing the battered society would have started. But no, they go and they give it the authority, the approval, solid approval. I can tell you there's no way this ticket, if they win, will be fair to Christians. There's absolutely no way. Whatever they tell you, we know it. We know their antecedents, all of them, both of them, and those they will bring on board. We know those who have surrounded them and have already shared the positions. We know. We have problems, my sister, because in the South, in Igbo land, for example, they will find it very difficult to find a Muslim they can make minister. But if they can find one, they will do it. They do it in Adamawa, they do it in Plateau, they do it in Taraba. Where there's even 1% Islam, they'll pick from that group and give him the minister. But Christians in the South will always find their way. They will always get their share because the opportunity to sideline them is not there. They are in an overwhelming majority. So that is it. We are fighting for an existential system. We will want to exist. We want our children to exist. I want my son to be able to work in Arise TV if he had the qualification, not because he's a Muslim, but because he's qualified. So that's it.
Thank you so much for your analysis so far, painting the picture that there should be a focus on competence and not necessarily be about religion. But I'm just wondering how concerned you might be about vote buying.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. They are putting words into my mouth. I didn't say emphasis on competence.
Okay, I apologize for putting words in your mouth.
First of all, no. Yeah, putting words. I didn't say competence. First of all, there has to be harmony.
Okay.
There has to be a sense that everybody has equal opportunities. There has to be belief that everybody is represented in the policy-making organs of the government. And so having this, if you decide that is where you want to go, you go into the various segments of the society and get the best from that segment.
That's
it. There are given conditions first before you go in to look for competence within that group.
Very well noted, and thank you for clarifying.
And, unless there's an examination, if there's an examination in which they say, okay, the person who comes first becomes the president, and the one who comes first becomes the vice president, then maybe if it's in the constitution. But you don't come and say Borno State has the only competent person. And there are beautiful, competent people. Look, my sister, let me tell you our position. There are some Muslims whom, if APC had taken them as a vice presidential candidate, who would have grumbled, but that's about it. We would not have been so violently opposed to it. There are some Muslims like that. There are some Muslims that we feel they have the ability to be fair and just to everybody. There are in the north. There are some Muslims that we feel that they are competent. But there are some Muslims that would rather die stopping them from being president than allow them to be. Just like there are some Christians also, if he had given them the vice presidential, he would have opposed it. Because there are some Christians, we believe, if they were to be vice president, they can be used as stooges to defend, to oppress us and our interests. So it's not about, forget about competence. Every part of Nigeria has competences. Every part, every village, every religion, every tribe, every school, they have competences.
Duly noted, and thank you.
I believe that these two teams that are in APC put before us, the three of themselves, the chairman, the vice president, the presidential candidate, if it were exam, they would not have come close to where they are now. What are they? The chairman was imposed on everybody. You know, the chairman who was even one time secretary of PDP, you know, is now the APC chairman. So when you put people like that, they think that is the competencies. They think they are competent because they are there. A presidential candidate that we worked right day and night to make, he didn't contribute anything to his being presidential candidate of APC. I know the people that worked around the clock. I was one of them. And we delivered him. Then he comes around to say he's competent and nobody else is competent. I hear you. God bless you. I hear you, my sister.
Thank you so much. Now, you were so kind, as to share what the outcome of your consultative meeting was. And I'm also wondering if you have any strategies in place when it comes to significant measures to enlighten the electorate about the true cost of vote buying, because that is still a very important issue considering Nigeria's economy at the moment and the high rate of unemployment, which stands at 33%.
Yeah. As a politician, very experienced one for that matter, I've been involved in elections, I think, since since the return of democracy, I've been there. I've witnessed elections. I can assure you that while it is possible to buy your votes at the House of Assembly, House of Representatives, or even just basically at the party primaries level, nobody has sufficient amount of money to buy all the votes he needs in the presidential election to become president. Nobody has that money. Nobody. They claim they have money. We are not seeing the money flowing around. You know, they say they have it. Why is the money? Everybody is complaining. Money is not flowing. Nobody has that money. Even if you have the whole of central bank given to you, it's not enough for you to buy all the votes you need to become president of Nigeria. And again, there are some issues for which you cannot buy somebody's conscience. This is one of it. Every Christian in Nigeria knows that this Muslim-Muslim ticket is designed to humiliate, to sideline, to oppress them. And no amount of money is going to be able to buy votes from such people. We know what we are doing. We've spoken to our people. I can assure you that if it is in the case of presidential election, forget about it. Nobody has enough money to buy the Nigerian voter. Maybe at the governorship level, since the governors have impoverished their people so they can store in stock money for buying votes, maybe they can make some difference. But definitely not Not anywhere. If Osun State, if it's about money with the governor, sitting governor, with the presidential candidate that is from there, that is the godfather of the, why did they not buy enough votes to win the election? Why did they not? PDP guys there were just businessmen. They didn't have money, government money to stash away, but they didn't win the election. You exaggerate the effect of money on votes. Not much. In the primaries, yes, there are only 2,100 delegates. In the whole governorship, the presidential primaries, there were 2,300 and something delegates. So you can buy those if you've stolen sufficient money. But presidential, forget it. And we trust INEC. This INEC that we know, this INEC that will conduct the 2023 election, they themselves, they will be hard-pressed to find a way of rigging INEC itself. Because of the system they have put in place, it's foolproof, it's rig-proof. So I don't think there's anybody even in INEC that can rig you in. So Nigerians, hold on your PVC, trust the beavers that they talk about, the votes will be cast and they will be counted and they will be announced. If they give you money, collect it and go and buy Gary, as my brother used to say. Gary and what? He said Gary and something. So, but don't worry yourself, my sister. Go to bed, sleep. This election will be free and fair, and the losers will lose, the winner will win.
But I'm wondering just how, what's the word? I'm looking for the word you use. I don't put any words in your mouth when you were referring to INEC, that it's, it's not been compromised necessarily. I hope that's the right word I'm using in this case. Because Nigerians do plan to, go out in their masses next week, I believe it's September 27th, for Occupy INEC, because they believe that the electoral body has been compromised to a large extent. So I'm wondering just how foolproof, but just how confident are you that INEC has not actually been compromised?
Madam, my Nigerians are like that. We are conspiracy theorists. Anything that happens, you transfer somebody from one department to another, they say they are planning to see. I know the INEC system quite well. In 2002, 2003, I was a consultant in INEC until 2011. I know how INEC works. This INEC you see as one of the most competent professionals you can ever come across in their own fields of specialty. I know that because I was a consultant for many years. So I know INEC because I am also, by chance, a computer engineer. So I know how IT works. And so I have an idea of when something is foolproof, it's foolproof. And I know people of integrity there, quite a number. Maybe some, but I don't think. At the time we were consultant in INEC, there's no way a national officer can rig you into office. It used to be the elect EOs in the local governments that you can compromise to give you blank result sheets, destroy the result, change the result during collation, but not at the national. So, but forget Nigerians, we are conspiracy theorists. Everybody is an expert on every field, and whatever you do, somebody somewhere will paint it black. But I can assure you, me, because of my experience in this system, because I know how INEC was, and I can tell you the president, the last thing Buhari would do is to allow rigging of election. I was SGF, and every election he would call us, and he would say, gentlemen, let us respect Nigerians and their PVC. Let us allow them cast their votes and count and announce. He would call me, the SGF, he would call me the IG, he would call the DGSSS, call the military service chiefs, and call the IG of police, and tell us that. When they are gone, he will call me again. He say, SGF. And I say, yes, sir. He said, this election, if the only thing I live for Nigeria is a free and fair election, is sufficient legacy for us. You agree? I say, I agree, sir. Then we go. Because I said of the political arm of government, the president will suspect that maybe I didn't hear him very well. He will repeat it to me in private and insist on it. This president, he will never condone any rigging of election. I can tell you. I can stake my life on it. Buhari will never side with anybody that will alter results in favor of anybody. Take Nigerians to take my word for it, because I was there, I know him, I know how he works. And I know Professor Mahmoud too. I know how he works. Mahmoud once told me, sir, this president, and he says, sir, Nigerians should make up their minds. Do you want a free and fair election or you want a compromise system? I said, President wants a free and fair election. He said, thank you very much, sir. That's it.
Certainly a lot to take
even
away.
When it was my duty to speak, yeah?
There's certainly a lot to take away from this, and we thank you so much for your time. You certainly are, and we've taken a lot from this, and I believe our viewers as well have absorbed all you've said and a lot of takeaways. So we thank you so much for your time. That's the former FG scribe, Babachir Lawal. Thank you very much.